of those maps where I think a lot of the players or a lot of the community was really just getting really mad at Blizzard in terms of their map selection and their map choices for the Battle.net meta pool. But I haven't heard anything really bad about Antigua Shipyard, especially with the forced cross spawns and the removal of gold. But then again, now that mules only return 30 minerals, even if it is a gold mineral patch, perhaps we will see more gold mineral patches in the game, as Rocker will be spawning as the purple Protoss versus Fuzzy as the yellow Zerg.
Yeah, we'll check out what sort of positions we have here. We know there'll be cross, but not quite sure where the starting positions will be. But yeah, I think Antigua Shipyard was one of those maps that came in with, I think, 3 or 4 new maps, and it was the only one that really survived the test of time. So definitely a good one.
Yeah, I think when I talked with David Kim, people were complaining about Antigua Shipyard, and he was looking at the maps like it's almost exactly like a Metalopolis. You have a third high ground, that there's destructible rocks there, and he didn't really see what people were so concerned about, and he was right. He was right. I think this map. A lot of people love as the game does get underway. Rocker opening up as the purple Protoss. It looks like he will be going for a low ground pylon. Meanwhile, we have the Fuzzy Zerg, yellow at the other end of the map, and we'll see what comes of this as we already have an early scout.
And this is one of those maps where Protoss do like to forge fast expand, but they can't do it with just high HP buildings like the gateways and the forges, which we can see uh, is available to them on other maps. But because of the big wide open area around this natural and the big wide ramp, you sort of have to use pylons as part of this wall off, and that can make you susceptible to things like baneling busts or roach rushes. And we'll see what Fuzzy chooses to do. Most Zerg players will just simply go into a macro game and go for sort of a quick 3 hatch, but it looks like Fuzzy taking a fast extractor, so he will have tech options open to him, whether it's banelings, whether it's just regular old Zergling speed, or whether he wants to go early roaches.
Yeah, so we'll see what Rocker tries to do here. I gotta believe that Rocker has to respond with an earlier forge than normal, since this is an
Right.
extractor pool opening, and those Zergins will be able to get across the map fairly quickly. The problem for Rocker is gonna be, will he be able to wall off in time, and whether or not he can do enough of a tower defense. No, it looks like he's gonna go for a Nexus first, and
Yeah.
this may be a very big gambit. We'll see if he'll be able to pull this off or not.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting decision. I wonder if he has this timed out on a map like this. Some of the maps in the map pool are getting longer and longer. It takes quite a bit of time to get across with early lings until that speed does kick in. It looks like Fuzzy will have enough gas to get speed as soon as that pool does pop, and we'll see whether Rocker is able to complete this wall off and get some cannons up before this speedling attack hits.
Yeah, right now what Rocker needs to do is he probably needs to cut some probes and make sure that he can get at least one photon cannon and one gateway. If he continues up with this probe production like he's doing now, he may not have enough minerals. As you can already see, 4 Zerglings are now just hatching, or 2 Zerglings with 2 more on the way, and, or sorry, 4 more on the way, so there's going to be a stream of Lings coming in.
Yeah, and there's actually no speed on the way for Fuzzy. He got the 100 gas, but he didn't spend the minerals on it, and that's very peculiar because he had the minerals to get that speed, and it looks like he just chose not to. And we'll see whether Rocker is able to fend off these first few lings. It can be such a pain to have those lings in your base that early on. It looks like that probe might actually go down, but Rocker will perhaps complete the wall off here. He needs one more pylon to complete it before the lings do get in here, and the 4 lings going to do their best. It looks like they will get the one free probe, perhaps, but they're not testing that ramp. So Rocker's Gambit does pay off. He's got his Nexus up well ahead of the second hatch, the natural for Fuzzy. And Fuzzy doesn't even have speed, so he doesn't really even have a tech advantage. Rocker goes with a second photon cannon to be extra safe, and he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, and now Fuzzy is doing exactly what you said. He's instead turning this into a macro game, getting up that third hatchery at the third base, as Rocker is just going to be sitting inside two. He does have Chrono Boost. He is going to be able to Chrono Boost out a lot of probes, already sitting on 26 probes. Oh, I love the new patch. 143 shows you the amount of larvas in the unit tabs as well,
Yeah.
so that's going to help us in terms of casting.
Yeah, definitely. going to be able to see whether a Zerg player is going to be able to instantly remax. A lot of times we have those big 200 battles, and if the Zerg only has, 10 larvae, that's not good enough. But if he's got 40 larvae in the bank on 5 or 6 hatcheries, that's definitely enough. So, yeah, very good tool that Blizzard added in this last patch, and I'm not sure if they really announced it beforehand. I didn't hear anything about it, so it was a nice surprise for me, at least.
Yeah, definitely. As this game is going to turn into a little bit of more of a macro style where there's not going to be much action unless Rocker does go into a Stargate, which is the normal opening after this fast expansion, just in case there are roaches. And you can also transition into pressure, which he's going to have to apply a lot of. The probe count is 37 compared to 27 drones right now. But we are going to be getting up 3 hatcheries. All we need is 1 more queen taking care of that hatchery, and then Fuzzy will be able to train up to 30 drones a minute on average. A very, very large number indeed, as Zealots now make their way out across the field.
And it looks like Rocker starts working on that pylon, deciding the better of it, or I suppose not to take that pylon and break his wall quite yet. He's working on +1. He's going to chrono that out, as well as the cybernetic score for warp gate tech. So it looks like he will be going for some sort of early pressure here. Right now he only has just 2 gates, so I'm not sure what kind of pressure he wants to be able to put on with just that many gates. His economy looking pretty good. It's at 45 probes compared to the 37, and it looks like he will be going for a very fast third as a Protoss. So I really like this play. I think more and more Protoss will do this. Zerg players, they don't tend to scout in the mid game all that much. They sort of understand that the Protoss got their second base down. I'm just going to get my third base, and now I'm going to drone up till about the 8 or 9 minute mark, and then start building some units. And a Protoss can sneak a third in, and as long as he's able to defend for a few minutes, he will be vulnerable for several minutes. But speed just now finishing for Fuzzy, and Fuzzy going to Lair Tech, so I think that Rocker might get away with this.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Fuzzy doing the customary getting spore crawlers at each of the bases to make sure that there is no Stargate harassment. But Rocker's just like, you know what? That's what the metagame is telling me to do. I'm not going to listen to the metagame. And now Fuzzy has essentially just wasted us 3 drones, as Zerglings are now going to try to run their way up. There are going to be some photon cannons here. The Zerglings going to test this out, see the probe, and now try to deal some damage. Zealots are warping in, and now Sentries coming in as well. Are we going to get some force fields? Yes, nicely done, as I don't believe that Fuzzy really wants to take a 4th at this stage. He's not going to have that many options to try to take up another base, and it's going to be 3 bases to 3 bases with a 57 probe versus 44 drone account.
Yeah, but Fuzzy's just mad pumping drones at this point. He's got 10 more on the way, so he will soon take the drone lead, and he had about 20 larvae there. I saw in the unit tab when he scouted that third. As we see a nice Ling run by here, he might actually be able to take out a few of these probes. The probes will be running to the safety of these cannons, but just not a lot of units here for Rocker. Remember, he was just on the 2 gateways for so long, so we do have +1 Zealots hoping to clean up these Lings, and the probes assisting their Zealot brethren with that task. But we see Fuzzy got a full scout here. He was able to take down maybe a probe or 2. It looks like 4 total, but these Lings will all be going down now.
Yeah, those Lings getting trapped by the force fields, Lings having nowhere to run essentially. And nicely done by Rocker, and Rocker with already up to 10 sentries. He should be transitioning into Colossi, and he will be able to wrangle all of these Zerg units into a nice little ball and effectively use that splash damage, as Rocker now 65 probes compared to 71 drones. And Rocker has fallen behind slightly in terms of his economy, but he has had such a large lead overall that as now he gets into level 2 weapons upgrade, he should be able to put down a lot of pressure, as you see massive spine crawlers now coming out for Fuzzy and a starting of that creep tumor spread.
Yeah, but 3 base to 3 base, that's not a situation you want to be in as a Zerg player, but we do see that the Spire has finished. There are 7 mutas on the way for Fuzzy. He's going to be a little bit gas capped for the moment, but he's going to work on that muta count and hopefully get into that 25 to 30 range where you can just start wrecking havoc with a Protoss player. We do have Blink finished for Rocker. He's got a very low Stalker count at this point, but he does have decent cannon coverage at his natural and his third. So as long as he keeps working on the Stalker count, he should be able to defend against these first few mutas which do come out.
Yeah, really nicely done. Rocker already one step ahead. It looks like level 2 weapons upgrade won't be in time for them as the Mutalists are now making their way across the map. Zergling's now once again trying to do another run by, finding a group of Stalkers. The Stalkers do have Blink, and that's going to cause problems as Fuzzy, trying to be cute, burrows some Zerglings into the low ground, and Observer is there. And now in comes these Mutalists. How much damage can they do?
Yeah, the Muta's going to find a very naked main mineral line here. It's naked of cannons, but it's got a ton of probes, which are going to go down here to these Mutas. And Rocker a little bit slow to react. It looks like he's going to be going for a counterattack, not using his Stalkers to blink back up into the main. Instead, he's going to be warping in some Stalkers, and he in fact has, looks like 3 gateways, which aren't warp gates at this point. He could really help himself out by getting warp gates on those gateways and trying to defend against these low number of Mutas. He definitely could do it, but it looks like he is on the counteroffensive here, and we'll see what he's able to do.
Yeah, right now Stalkers are pushing their way in. Force Field's not even coming down. Guardian Shields would be very helpful, minimizing the damage of both Spine Crawlers and Mutalisks. Zergling's being forced to dance back around as we still see some Zealot. And where are those Mutalisks? Mutalisks are trying to engage. They didn't engage at very well at all. The Stalkers could start peeling away using that Blink micro very effectively. Now blinking straight in, preventing any Zerglings from attacking, and a beautiful pocket by Rocker.
Yeah, and Fuzzy can't really attack here with his Mutas until he gets a decent number. He does have 16, so with the help of Lings and Spinecrawlers, he might be able to take on this ball. But we do have Rocker, who does have +2 upgrades, and that just shreds those Mutas. Mutas have 0 armor upgrades at this point, so those Stalkers doing 12 damage to the Mutas, and again, like you said, with Blink, they're able to micro around, just keep themselves alive for such a long time. And Fuzzy taking a lot of damage, forced to make a lot of units here, down to just 0 larva at this point for Fuzzy, so he is out of rounds in his proverbial gun here, and he might actually lose this third, burrowing those drones. Smart move by him, but Rocker has so many force fields here, he could quickly focus down that third if he chose.
Rocker now blinking back with those Stalkers, trying to make sure that no more units can get inside again, and really, really well done with all of these Stalkers here. The Sentries are now trying to focus down the rest of these Mutalisks, but the Sentries have very low DPS. But Fuzzy now down to 65, 61, as Stalkers going up against Mutalisks. Zealots now going after Roaches, and I believe a lot of damage was done. 31 workers killed, 65 probes versus 34 drones. And now it's up to Rocker to once again get all of these Stalkers out into the field. It looks like he has a large number already, and they're ready to make another move.
It looks like those Stalkers were in the main to sort of defend against any sort of counterattack or counter-Mutalisk pressure, but Fuzzy forced to use those Mutalisks to defend, and now we see this big pack of Stalkers. I believe this should end the game, and as a Zerg player, there's nothing worse than cleaning up a big attack and then seeing another big attack or another set of units heading across the map, and yep, there's the GG from Fuzzy.
Yeah, so really well played by Rocker. Rocker taking that fast expansion, and I was really on needles, really on the edge of my seat as Rocker opted to go for a Nexus first, even though he saw Speedlings come out or a extractor pool, and I really questioned the decision. Fuzzy then tried to get a lot more Lings. He delayed his metabolic boost, as you mentioned, and tried to get out as many Zerglings as possible in order, and then also get a Queen. But it looked like the timing on Rocker was just too tight, too perfect. 1 photon cannon, a couple of probes, and those Zerglings didn't stand a chance.
He was pretty